Hi all, I'm Jeanette Keynes from Jewelry Arts Inc. This is Chasing and Repousse 10, and I'm going to show you how to fit that beautiful apricot gold panel into my original bezel. Well, here's the progress report. Here's my little juicy apricot gold repousse piece. I just trimmed the excess away from the wire here, and it doesn't fit my bezel exactly anymore, but I think I'm going to lovingly shove it in place using a wood dowel or two. So I'll film that and we'll see how it goes, because it fit exactly before I repoussed it, and actually it's quite close, but still there's always going to be a certain amount of distortion. So like it fits it pretty darn close, don't get me wrong. I'm proud, but I'll just have to tweak it a little bit. But if I may say, it's just so juicy. I love it. So I'm going to mark with a Sharpie the little spots that are a little too big to go in there. And then I'm going to do maybe a little filing or use a little wheel to remove a little bit, and then there'll be some shoving involved, and it'll be grinding and shoving, so it's going to be fun. One piece of advice I will give you when you're trying to get things to fit: don't work on the whole thing. Pick a section, mark it, you know what I mean? Work on it, get it to fit, and then go to the next section. If you just kind of keep going around and around, you lose track of where you've been, where you're going, and it can be a little frustrating. So I try to break it down into sections. It's really not that far off, though. It's not bad considering how much whacking I did to this. My favorite, white silicone wheel. Although there will definitely be some shoving involved, I'm not going to lie to you. I do need the fit to be pretty good, because if this is really like crazy too big for the bezel will distort too much if I shove it in there. So I have to kind of do, you know, a little filing, a little grinding, and then a little shoving. Get it in there. I'm so close. But I do want a tight fit, because I'm going to have to solder that in there. So, you know, I can't have some kind of real, you know, gapalicious situation happening, because that will not be good. So. So you see how I almost have it in there? You know, I've got a little extra rim, which I'm taking off slowly, because again, though, you don't want to go crazy and take off too much, because I don't want to lose fit. So, you know, a little more tweaking, a little more shoving. Well, I've almost got it. I'm going to get my big wood dowel out and do a little bit of shoving. Right over here is where it needs to go in still. Oh, did you hear that snap?
I did.
Oh, all right, that's a very good sign. For those of you wondering why we're getting all excited, you know, that means it's snapped in, which is a tight fit, which is kind of the most you can hope for. I still have a couple spots that aren't quite in there, so I'm going to keep pressing, but here, hold on a sec.
Are you just going around the edge with the dowel?
Yeah, because the thing of it is, like, you can't let it sink in so that it's at an angle. So it has to be like right at the top, and then just the spots that are catching, you're trying to just force them in.
Right.
Because the thing of it is, obviously, I could just, you know, file way more, which maybe I will, but you kind of want to, this is definitely a finesse where you're like, you file a little, and then the violence, and you file a little, and then the violence.
Yeah. It's kind of like trying to get a wire to fit around a bezel, right? You want to force it, you don't want to force it.
Yes, exactly right. So, I mean, and it's like
very
right there. But when I have, one hopes, a gorgeous fit like that, when I solder it in, everything is aces. So it's always worth it to struggle on steps like this, and then when you solder, you're just like, you know.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So show me how you're pressing it with the dowels.
So I have to hold this in place with my fingers, and then just on that edge.
Oh wow.
You know, like just to like. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Oh my gosh, that looks really hard.
I'll probably press a tiny bit more in this spot right here, but I think.
It's also hard to see if it's even because the edge of that is not even.
Why, yes, that is accurate. Oh, what?
Did you get it?
Yeah. Yeah, take a look at that. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's
Beautiful.
That's good.
Yeah.
So probably what I'll do, because I have to solder this in, I might do some kind of ochre or noker on the original seams, like just as a precautionary measure, because when I solder this is going to be one of those solder from the inside, heat from the underneath, and like so there's stuff happening. Yeah, exactly, that I won't be able to see.
Solder that you use to fill the
exactly. Which would be, it'll all be fine, but I might take that extra step of a little ochre or noker or whatever.
It's going to be a lot though, right? It's all the wires.
Yeah. But there are, I mean, you know, I like to live dangerously, but there's certain times where it does not make sense to live dangerously.
We've been working on this for weeks, and it looks fan-fucking-tastic.
Yes. Well, another thing that I learned, because that was my hypothesis, was that I could fit a wire around the edge, make a bezel to fit that tightly, repousse, and then fit it back in. Which, you know, it does get misshapen a bit, but it does work. So now I know I can do that, which means I can do panels like this for the back of pendants. But you could always just do a wire at the edge.
Yeah.
And then, and then, you know what I'm saying, afterward. It's just that I wanted this to just be front and back, enamel on the front that fits, you know what I mean, whatever.
Is the height of that bezel right for the enamel?
Well, it's got more. It's got more than it needs
like,
because I'm going to fill this with jet set.
Gotcha.
So that inside it's less likely to get damaged by dings.
Yep.
And I'm going to like put that enamel in there and snuggle it in place, you know what I mean?
When the jet set's still warm?
Yeah, I think so. Or I might fill it beautiful and level with jet set and then raise the enamel a little bit. You know, we'll do it together, so you'll get to see it.
Even, like flat. Really? But
yeah. A stick with, and you dip it in water.
Ah, okay. But don't you need to like smooth it? Because like you're just pressing.
But you tap it. So like this one might be a little bit too big. I probably would need one. No, actually that fits in there lovely.
Yeah.
So it would be, first of all, I have to make a jet set seat for underneath it to hold it level.
Like
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then it's going to be soft and press to make an even coat. So it's not actually that hard to do. I'll show you how to do it. It's not. But I might not fill it absolutely to the right height for the enamel. Yeah. I might just
give yourself a little,
give it level and then tweak it with a little silver or cardboard.
What?
I know. The dirty secrets are coming out. But we'll do it together, so you'll get to see whatever shenanigans I get up to.
But the bail has to go on first, right?
Yes. Yes, definitely.
So I want to see that too.
Bail has to go on before.
Don't forget that.
Yeah, don't forget the bail. Before we set, we
And
must
I really
finish all
wanna
our
see that
soldering.
bail too, because that also is gorgeous.
If it's not busy tomorrow, which it probably will be, but if it does, I'll show you how I bend it. Which honestly, I'm going to kneel it. I'm going to take 2 thumbs and we're going to put it on a stick and bend it.
It's the same as the other repousse bail that I did. Right?
It's really easy.
Okay.
The whole key is just that you don't do it fast, that you don't do a sharp bend
Right.
and mess up your nice curve.
Right.
But it's
And
actually
you
really
work
easy.
down through the dies, right? You don't just,
Yeah.
So progress report, I have lovingly filed and shoved my repousse, I don't know what it is, it's fire, it's curves, it's whatever it is. It's my apricot repousse project. So I forced it into the bezel. It's in there like crazy tight, as you can see, which will make my soldering a lot easier. And like I was talking about before, I will probably ochre, or we have our own custom blend that's a little easier to get out that we call noker. Maybe I'll use that, but I want to protect the solder seams, because when I solder this in, I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to use a big fat torch from underneath, and I definitely don't want anything to happen. I don't want any of that solder to reflow. It probably wouldn't, but this is a discretion being the better part of valor kind of situation. So